Hello everyone, I am Siddhant Upyal and today I am going to teach you basic concept of C++ programming language. As we all know, C++ is an object-oriented programming language. There are some concepts in object-oriented programming language, but I would like to add that C++ is not a purely object-oriented language because the basic fundamental concept for object-oriented programming language is that every program should be written within the class, but we can write a program without creating any class in C++, and Java is a purely object-oriented programming language because we cannot create or we cannot write a program without creating any class. So C++ is not purely object-oriented language, but we can achieve the object-oriented programming in C++. There are some fundamental concepts of C++ like objects, classes, data abstraction, data encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, dynamic binding, and message passing. In this video lecture, we will talk about first two, classes and object. So first one is class. So the first question is, what is a class? Class is nothing but a user-defined data type. User-defined data type means there are different predefined data types in C++ like int, char, string, float, which are defined primarily by the developer, but user can also create its own data type using the class. We can say class is a blueprint of an object, and also it is a user defined data type. By defining a class, we can create a new abstract data type that can be treated like any other built-in data type. Like if we can use them a class, suppose we have defined any class as student, we can use it like student and a variable name, like as we do in int and then variable name. So classes also, by using class we can also define our own data type. The class is an improvement in a structure, like we have learned about structure in C programming language. In structure, we can only define variables. We cannot define the functions in structure in C programming. So in C++ we have a concept of class in which we can also define the functions, and the function which are defined within a class is known as a member functions, and the variable which are defined in the class is known as data members. And all methods and variables are collectively known as the class members. So for syntax of creating a class is class, then class name, like we have a class name student, then braces, then we have variable int a. Suppose we have a roll number and a string name, then public. So what is public here? Public is an access specifier. There are three types of access specifier defined in C++ programming language. First one is public, second one is private, third one is protected. We will talk about the access specifiers also in next video series, but the basic concept of public, private, and protected is public are those variables or methods defined as public that can be accessed outside the class also. By creating an object, we can access them, we can use them. And private, these cannot be used without outside the class. And the protected, they are also similar to the private. They are also cannot be accessed outside the class, but the classes which are inherited through the same class, they can access it. We will talk about all three in next video lecture. So by default, all the members in a class are private. So here these two variables are private, and the public, I will define public function void get data. This function will read the value from user and it will store it into the variables. Like first we will print the message cout, enter roll number of a student, handle. Here handle means, as we learn in C programming, /n for new line. So in C++ we have handle, and cout for printing a message, and cin is used for reading any data from the command prompt. So cin roll number, then cout, enter the name of the student, then cin name, and then void we have to print data also. So there is another function we will define, put data. It will print the name and the roll number of a student. Cout name, cout roll number, so we are done with our class. So next topic is object. So what is object? The object is a runtime entity, or we can say that object is an instance of a class. Object, in general terms, we can say object is a variable which will access all the element of that class. Like, so if we are defining int roll number, so roll number is an entity which will access all the data members and a member function of integer. So here int is a data type. We will talk about the integer class also, but in general terms, object is a instance of a class. So how we will define any object? So int main, if we are defining any object in main, this is the way we have to main curly braces. Then as we declared int, similarly we will define the object like student, the name of the class, then s1, and that's it. And then we will access the get data and put data. We cannot access like s1 dot roll number. it is not possible because roll number is a private. We can access s1 dot get data. Here s is small, get, then data. It will input the value of s1. S1 is a single entity, and all the variables which will be defined in the class will be individual for every object. It means if we create a s1 and s2, and then the name of s1 will not affect the name of s2. Okay, so we will move forward with the practical implementation of it. So I have written the code for short video. So this is my code for a class and object. So this is my class of a student. There are two data members, roll number and name, and there are two public member functions, get data and put data. Get data will input the value and put data will print the value. There are two different objects in my main function, s1 and s2. So the main thing is there, s1 will not conflict the data of s2. So we will run this. So we compiled successfully. So the first roll number for the first student, suppose that 1 is the roll number of first student, and the name of the student is ABC. So the data of student 1 is name ABC, roll number 1. So once again, the roll number of first student suppose is 1, and the name of student is ABC. So the data of student 1 is the name, and name is ABC and roll number is 1. So by using get data, we have inserted the values of student 1, and by using put data, we have inserted the values of student, details of student 1. So for student 2, we have used get data. So we will insert the details of student 2. Suppose the roll number is 2 and the name is XYZ. So the data of student 2, his name is XYZ and roll number at 2, and the data of student 1 is ABC and 1. So the main thing to define this was to make you understand that both the objects will have their own separate memory block. These two will not conflict each other's data. So I think this is all for today. Thanks for watching my video.